When you're in a relationship, romantic, family, or friendship, and you find yourself continually rescuing somebody, that's a sign that something needs to change. A dynamic where you're always the one saving the day is draining. Eventually, you become the one who needs rescuing. Today, I want to talk about how to stop rescuing and start relating. Hi, welcome to my channel. I'm your inner light coach, and I'm grateful you joined me today. Let's step together through stories, rituals, and reflections. Thank you for shining your presence here. This video is about how to stop rescuing and start relating. I once worked with a client who was in exactly this pattern. Her boyfriend had a full-time job, his own vehicle, and his own apartment, but after they agreed to be in a relationship and he moved in with her, the pattern began. He started taking time off work. His car broke down, and instead of fixing it, he began using her car to the point that it interfered with her ability to get to work. Every time something happened in his life, she stepped in to fix it. By the time she came to me, she was exhausted. She felt physically sick, even though doctors couldn't find anything wrong. She told me that one morning her boyfriend took her car when she needed it for work, and she ended up walking to her job. That was her breaking point. As she talked, I asked her how she felt each time she said yes, when her whole body wanted to say no. She realized that every time she rescued him, she was abandoning herself. She was pushing her self-love away and building resentment in its place. So we worked through some open-ended questions. A couple of them were, how would your day feel like if you were supported? What price are you paying for not saying no? And is it possible to sit down and have an adult conversation with your boyfriend? She decided to try. She sat down with him and explained what she needed. She told him it was time to get his car fixed. He shrugged. He didn't see anything wrong with how he was living or how much he was taking from her. That conversation drained her even more. In this case, she tried to relate, but he wasn't willing to meet her there. So she made a different choice. She ended the relationship, reclaimed her apartment and car, and enrolled in classes at the local community college. She chose herself, and I told her how proud I was of her strength and courage. This is what happens when you stop rescuing and start relating. You return to yourself. You stop abandoning your needs. You stop carrying someone else's responsibilities. And you begin to build relationships where support flows both ways. So what are the signs you're rescuing instead of relating? You say yes when your whole body is saying no. Their crisis becomes your responsibility. You feel drained, anxious, or resentful after helping. You're giving more than you're receiving. You're afraid of what will happen if you stop helping. You feel responsible for their growth, healing, or stability. You lose sight of your own needs. How to shift out of rescuing and start relating. Start by telling yourself the truth. Rescuing only works when you pretend you're okay with it. The shift begins the moment you admit, even quietly to yourself, this doesn't feel good. This doesn't feel fair. This is costing me something. Honesty with yourself is the first act of self-love. Pause before you say yes. Rescuers respond fast, often faster than their intuition can speak. So your new practice is simple. Pause. Take one breath. Ask yourself, do I want to do this or do I feel obligated? That pause interrupts the old pattern and gives you space to choose. Let adults handle their adult responsibilities. Relating means standing beside someone, not standing in for them. When you stop fixing everything, you give the other person a chance to step into their own life. You're not abandoning them, you're allowing them to grow. Communicate from clarity, not fear. When you're rescuing, you speak from fear. Fear of conflict, fear of being misunderstood, fear of being abandoned. When you're relating, you speak from clarity. I can't do that today. I need more support. This doesn't work for me. Clear communication is not confrontation, it's connection. Let their reaction be their reaction. This is the hardest part. When you stop rescuing, some people will get upset, withdraw, or try to guilt you back into the old pattern. Your job is not to manage their emotions. Your job is to stay grounded in your truth. Rebuild your relationship with yourself. Rescuing pulls you away from your own needs, dreams, and well-being. Relating brings you back. Start checking in with yourself again. What do I need today? What supports me? What feels nourishing? When you relate to yourself with honesty and care, you naturally relate to others from a healthier place. Choose relationships where support flows both ways. Healthy relating is reciprocal. It's not perfect, but it's balanced. You give, you receive, you grow together. When you stop rescuing, you create space for relationships that feel like partnership, not caretaking. When you stop rescuing, you don't become cold or selfish, you become honest. You stop pouring from an empty cup. You stop carrying what was never yours. You stop making yourself overgive. Relating is what happens when two adults meet each other with respect, responsibility, and care. Rescuing is what happens when one person disappears so the other can stay comfortable. And you deserve more than that. You deserve relationships where your no is honored, your needs matter, and your support is matched with support in return. So if you're listening to this and realizing you've been rescuing, let this be your turning point. Not a dramatic moment, just a quiet decision to come back to yourself. To choose honesty, to choose boundaries, to choose relationships that feel like partnership, not pressure. Because the moment you stop rescuing, you start relating. To others, yes, but most importantly, to yourself. Thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, comment, share. Let's get back to love. God is good. Love and light to all. Stay thankful. Until next time, walk gently and shine brightly.